Hi Taurus, and welcome to your horoscope for March 2025. Thanks for joining me. My horoscopes are based on the UK time zone, and please watch them in this order: for your rising sign first, then for your sun sign, and finally for your moon sign. So what I'm going to do in this horoscope is I'm going to break March down into 4 weeks, and I'm going to pay particular attention to what the moon is doing, how it moves through your chart, where it supports you, and when. So week one, or the first 9 days of the month really, Saturday the 1st until Sunday the 9th of March. On the 1st of March, the moon is in Pisces, and that's in your 11th house of hopes and dreams. And that's a remnant of the new moon in Pisces that we had on the 27th of February. That was an opportunity for you to discover really what your genuine hopes and dreams for your life are, and how you can plant seeds to start growing those in earnest. So the 1st of March continues to support you in that area. But also on the 1st of March, we have Venus, your ruler, that goes retrograde until the 12th of April 2025. When Venus is retrograde, it's not a good time to start new businesses or relationships because your perspective on what you love is off. But the good thing about it is that you're willing to consider things which usually you dismiss out of hand, or that you have no love for, and that are genuinely useful and could use your attention and consideration. On the 2nd and 3rd of March, the moon moves into Aries, and it goes into your 12th house of spirituality and spiritual strength, and it joins Venus and also the asteroid known as the wounded healer, Chiron. So these 2 days are really great to have some sort of spiritual connection, particularly an experience that makes you feel like, wow, something in me is being healed through my connection to something bigger. So if you have a spiritual practice, if you meditate, or if you feel like you connect by being out in nature or by being creative, do that on the 2nd and 3rd. It's really going to heal something that would have caused you quite significant pain in the past. Also on the 3rd, we have Mercury, the communication planet, ingressing into Aries, and it joins Venus and the moon and Chiron in your 12th house of spirituality. When Mercury is in Aries, it's very forceful. It's very focused on using communication almost as a weapon and saying, this is what I think and feel, and I'm going to articulate that without censoring myself. So it's a good time to express yourself, but it's also a good time to overcome challenges by talking through them. With it going into your 12th house, it really makes the whole question of spirituality one where it's like, if I don't feel anything, or if I have no sense of something bigger, or I'm an agnostic, and I want to do something about that, it's an opportunity with this placement to say, right, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to meditate, and I'm going to see what happens. And it's likely that you have some sort of spiritual breakthrough or some experience which gives you a greater understanding of that side of life. On the 4th and 5th, the moon moves into your sign of Taurus, and it joins Uranus, the planet of the miraculous and chaotic and unexpected. That's also in Taurus in your 1st house. So these 2 days are days where you'll feel a natural sense of well-being, but also you may get some unusual ideas how you could do things differently in order to increase your income or to improve something about any assets that you possess, securities, houses, any belongings that you have. On the 6th and 7th, the moon goes into Gemini, and it joins Jupiter, the lucky planet, that's also in Gemini in your 2nd house. So these 2 days are great for negotiations, anything to do with finances, anything where contracts are involved, or mediation, or you're trying to get a particular amount of pay. If you can schedule it in for the 6th and 7th, the good luck of Jupiter ensures that you get a better outcome than you would have expected. Also on the 6th, the moon reaches its second quarter, so it's a half moon, and it's waxing on its way to becoming a full moon in Virgo on the 14th of March. So again, in those negotiations or contractual back and forths, if there seems to be some huge obstacle that needs to be overcome, the 6th of March particularly gives you the energy and the strength and the patience to say, I'm going to keep chipping away at this until I get what I want. On the 8th and 9th, the moon then goes into Cancer, and it moves into your third house of communication, and it joins your transiting ascendant and Hades and Mars, all in Cancer as well. So these days are great for creativity, expressing what you feel, but particularly taking something that causes you fear or doubt and externalizing that through the creative process, painting, writing, making pottery, floristry, design, anything like that. So you're able to take things which feel unpleasant and uncomfortable, and you're able to use that as fuel in the creative process to produce something that you can then be very proud of, and that at the same time kind of detoxes you. On the 8th of March as well, that's the day when it's the best time to view Mercury in the night sky. So look for the planet low in the sky in the west just after sunset. And it's interesting because Mercury is the communication planet. And here during the first 9 days of the month, the key thing is for you to have some sort of spiritual breakthrough or some breakthrough as far as your own imagination and creativity are concerned. And you're able to get something out of you that's been stuck within so far. It's also worth mentioning that Mars is direct all month. Mars is the planet of energy and drive, so you're not going to be low on that. And all the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, they are all direct. So anything that needs shifting around in the external world is going to be very pliable to you. And especially if you're being creative, you're able to use practical things to kind of capture your own feelings, your own thoughts, your own insights. So during the first 9 days, the moon moves from your 11th house and it ends up in your 3rd house. So that's pretty much the left-hand side of the chart, and it's quadrant 1 and houses 11 and 12, and it's a deeper understanding of who you are by delving into the realms of spirituality, understanding what's genuinely important to you and what you can express creatively. Week 2, Monday to Sunday, the 10th to the 16th of March. On the 10th, 11th, and 12th, the moon is in Leo, and that's in your 4th house of family and your roots and the people who are closest to you. And these 3 days are great to just have fun with the people you love and to enjoy their company and to enjoy being around them. On the 13th and 14th, the moon goes into Virgo and it moves into your 5th house of what you love, and it's what you love to do work-wise, but it's also who you love. Virgo is a sign that's ruled by Mercury, the planet of analysis and communication and ideas. So if there's anything around your work that isn't ideal, you'll be able to pinpoint that on the 13th and 14th and then make changes as a result of that understanding. But also if you're meeting new people, if you're dating, around the 13th and 14th, trust your gut. You'll immediately know who's suitable for you and who isn't, where there's chemistry and where there isn't. On the 14th, specifically, we have a lunar eclipse on the south node, and it's a full moon in Virgo. And an eclipse is something that interrupts the process of a full moon or a new moon. So the effects of it will be felt for the next 6 months. And in your case, it happens in that 5th house of what you love. So until August, Taurus, you'll really understand what works for you and what doesn't. and who you want to be part of your life and who you don't want to be part of your life. And it's very cut and dry, it's very unemotional, and you'll be able to make changes so that your life suits you more and you're less worried about what other people are thinking and feeling and what they think is right for you. You'll be able to shrug that off much more easily. On the 15th and 16th, then, the moon goes into Libra, and that's in your 6th house of daily routine and your physical health and the structures of your life. So you'll have a strong connection to your own body. You'll have a nice overview of your life, and you'll be able to connect with it and to say, am I satisfied again with how things are going, or do I want to make any changes? And even if in the past you have found that making changes is something that fills you with self-doubt or uncertainty or even fear, the 15th and 16th are ideal for you to say, this is something that no longer works for me, so I'm going to let go of it. On the 15th of March as well, Mercury goes retrograde until the 7th of April, and Mercury is the communication planet. So it retrogrades alongside Venus, and they both sit in Aries in your 12th house of spirituality and spiritual strength. So when Mercury is retrograde, expect issues with communication and transportation. So if you're sending emails, make sure they arrive. If you're traveling, give yourself extra time for delays. But the great thing about retrogrades is often that they offer you a different perspective. And for you, Taurus specifically, March is a month where you can visit for the first time or revisit the topic of spirituality in your life and see it very differently and get a very different outcome based on you delving into that area and doing some of your own research. So in week 2, the moon starts in your 4th house and it ends up in your 6th house. So that's quadrant 2. So the second week really is about what you love and your closest relationships and the structures of your life, and making sure that you're keeping things around that you do care about and that you're getting rid of things that don't work for you. Week 3, Monday to Sunday, the 17th to the 23rd of March. On the 17th, the moon is still in Libra. Same thing applies. Look at your circumstances. Then on the 18th and 19th, the moon goes into Scorpio in your 7th house of relationships, and it joins Vesta in Scorpio, and they oppose Uranus in Taurus in your 1st house. And that's interesting because even though we have Venus and Mercury in retrograde, you may find that you have a very strong connection with another person in your life, and that it seems to throw things off. Make sure you don't read too much into that and try and get back on track. If there's a moment where it's like, wow, I've just met the person that I'm meant to be with for the rest of my life, it's not likely to be that, and it's more likely to be a distraction. Try and, I know in those moments it's very important to keep a level head, but try and look at things in as objective a way as you possibly can, and whether that person or that relationship is suitable for you, and see what needs taking care of. Look at your obligations, see what you need to be doing instead, and try and get some balance at the very least. Then on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, the moon moves into Sagittarius and it goes into your 8th house of institutions and authorities. And if you have any legal things going on, or if you're in negotiations, or if there's red tape that you need to get through filling in forms or visa applications, expect some really good news during these 3 days. On the 20th of March, the sun goes into Aries. It goes into your 12th house of spirituality. So that's the big theme of the month here for you, Taurus. My spiritual life and what exists beyond the physical and what exists in the unmanifest. So if you're a Taurus who really has never been interested in spirituality, you'll find that it becomes a really hot topic here in March. Also on the 20th, we've got the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere. It's the autumn equinox in the southern hemisphere, and it's the time where there are equal amounts of day and night. So the key thing is that you'll notice your own shadow self, you'll notice the best parts of yourself, and you'll notice the role that spirituality plays in both of those areas, and how you can use spirituality to get a better sense of self and to tap into things that make you feel like, wow, this allows me to shine. On the 22nd, the moon reaches its fourth quarter, so it's another half moon, and it's waning towards becoming a new moon in Aries on the 29th of March. And it's in that 8th house of yours. So I think this is a time, the 22nd particularly, where you're able to wrap up some sort of official aspect of your life where the form has been filled in and sent off, or the application has been completed and sent off, or the manuscript has been submitted. Expect something to feel like, oh, this is now off my shoulders and I can breathe a sigh of relief and things feel a lot lighter. Then on the 23rd, the moon goes into Capricorn, and it stays in Capricorn going into week 4 as well on the 24th. But it moves into Capricorn into your 9th house of travel and education and the higher realms. And for you, simply, I think the 23rd and 24th are good times, if possible, to go visit places that you've never been to before, or even to look at learning new areas, particularly if they have something to do with spirituality or things that are beyond the physical. So in this third week, the moon starts on the 17th in your 6th house, and it ends up on the 23rd in your 9th house. So that's the 6th house and the third quadrant. So really, I think this third week is very much about public life, the routines and structures of your life, and getting paperwork completed so that you have more freedom in the structures of your life, and that you're able to visit places that you couldn't in the past, or live places that you weren't able to because the green card has now been issued, or the legal issues resolved, so that you can focus on other things. That's why I think the 23rd and 24th are really times for you to celebrate. So moving into week 4 then, Monday to Monday, the 24th until the 31st of March, 24th moon is still in Capricorn in the 9th. Then on the 25th and 26th, the moon goes into Aquarius and it moves into your 10th house of work, where it joins Pluto and Pallas. So expect some sort of good news as far as your working life is concerned, and to gain some sort of wisdom there. So it may be that you find the solution to a particularly tricky problem, or that it's in a more abstract sense that your career sees a rebirth because your role is now changing, or you're being offered a new job. On the 27th and 28th, the moon goes into Pisces. And again, this is a chance to really understand, what are my hopes and dreams for the future? What's really most important to me? On the 27th as well, Venus in retrograde, it moves back into Pisces. And on the 29th of March, Mercury does the same. It goes back into Pisces. And both of those planets now move back into your 11th house of hopes and dreams. So during these retrogrades of Venus and Mercury, you're able to see the kind of ideal picture for your future. You're able to see that very differently, and you're able to consider things which genuinely may be useful to you that you had dismissed out of hand, and you're able to kind of embrace a different way of living that isn't based on what your parents taught you or what society says is good and right, but what you decide you have affection for and that you want to bring more of into your everyday experience. So the moon goes into Aries then on the 29th and 30th, and it moves into your 12th house of spirituality and spiritual strength again. But not only that, on the 29th, we have a solar eclipse on the North Node, and it's a new moon in Aries. So that new moon, again, is interrupted by the eclipse process, and this influence you'll feel until August. And it pulls in all this Aries energy into your 12th house. So by this time of March, Taurus, you'll be like, hey, this is what I know to be true about spirituality. This is how my spiritual life supports me on an everyday level, how it supports me in living my best life, how it makes me feel good, how it makes me feel loved, how it gives me a greater sense of independence so that I can do more in my life without needing the approval or support of other people. So it's almost like here in March, you discover spirituality as a tool that enables you to do more on your own. On the 30th of March, Neptune, the planet of dreams and intuition, that moves out of the sign that it rules Pisces, where it's been for a long time, and it goes into Aries and it joins all the other energy in your 12th house. So really now it's, how do I take my own hopes and dreams that I've got clear on? How do I take this new spiritual understanding and how do I channel that out into the world so that I can have experiences I've never had before and that I can feel freer in my life and have a more enjoyable experience overall? And then finally, on the 31st of March, the moon goes back into your sign of Taurus, moves into your first house of self. And I think you end the month of March here just feeling great and like anything is possible. And it's like the blinkers have been taken off and you're going to be willing to consider living in a very different way than you have in the past. You know, like the example that's coming to mind for me is like you live one way, then one day you realize you're gay, and that means life is going to look very different moving forward. And then it's the fun of exploring that whole new world. As an example, it can happen. Okay, so week 4, let's see. The houses the moon covered. It started on the 24th in your 9th house, and it ended up in your 1st house. So that's pretty much the 4th quadrant, houses 10, 11, 12, but also houses 9 and 1. So this final week is you receiving some sort of visitation or some sort of spiritual understanding that says the way I am and the way I'm going to move forward and what I'm going to work towards is now very different. And I feel excited about what the future holds and how it's going to surprise me because I'm now going in this different direction. So it looks like a great month for you, Taurus. I hope you have a wonderful time. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. To draw up your birth chart, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, that's not terrible. I can use sunrise. But what's even better is a process called chart rectification, where I work out your time of birth based on 10 or more significant life events that you send me. So once I have that, then I have the correct ascendant in the right house placement, and then I can answer any questions you may have. The natal chart is like a blueprint of who you are. So vocational aptitudes, life purpose, romantic relationships, family, travel, connection with authorities, institutions, employment versus self-employment, spiritual development, finance, anything at all. To look at what's coming up in future, I look at your progress chart, your transits, and if it's around your birthday, what's also really good is a solar return chart. And if there's anything around location and moving, I look at the astrocartography, which shows me how certain areas in the world are going to influence you and how. So if you're interested in any of that, please do get in touch for a personal reading via the website, gregoryscott.com. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please, so it shows up in searches. Subscribe for more videos in future, and please share it with anyone you think may like this video. It helps the channel grow. I hope you have a fabulous March, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best.